Hello, SpongicX here with more Conkers Bad Fur Day. Here we are back at the Bat Tower, doing the part where we have to retrieve the 3 missing cogs. This part was a lot harder on the N64 version. The Xbox remake, they made it a lot easier. Not only because of the placement of the cogs, but it was just easier to catch up to them and whack them with the baseball bat compared to Conker's slow as heck frying pan.
Hey, oh, bloody hell. Come on, put it on, quick. Put it on, I like it like that. Oh, fan-f***ing-tastic.
Oh, hang on, I think I got it on the wrong way round.
Bugger you have. What you doing? What? Ah,
So messed up. Okay, I got the blue one. That's the hardest one to get.
Oh, no, not that.
yeah, go on. Get the other one on.
The red one's usually the easiest to get. I thought I'd get that one last. Ugh. So much easier on the Xbox version.
No, anything but that. Oh, no, not that. No,
Thanks,
anything but
Ed.
that.
Now go f*** off with you.
Yeah, I got stuck on this part when I first played it. I had no idea what to do, but so I looked it up and it's like, okay, I gotta run around in circles. Are you kidding me?
I gotta get off this thing.
Whoa, go, oh, twatting shite. That's tossed it right up there.
Okay, why did they censor the word ass during that?
We're free at last to exact our revenge on this evil cog. Grab him.
What the? Oh! Oh no! Not Mr. Big Cog. That's me, buggered. I'm out of here. I don't know what his problem is. I find it rather delicious. Thank you, Mr. Squirrel.
Oh, my pleasure.
Yes, and I'll think you'll find that your little problem outside has been thoroughly taken care of.
Oh, cool.
Now, good day to you, sir.
Toffee now, snob. Why, thank you, Mr. Squirrel. Come on, ladies. It's the Caribbean Furs. Ladies, it's that squirrel person again. How are you? I see our brutish friend didn't get his victuals today. Yeah, well, time enough for that. I need the combination. Thanks. Oh, no, you don't seem to understand. Yes, you don't understand us. We can't go about giving away classified information like that just to anybody. Wow. We will open the safe, won't we, ladies? Lead the way.
I find it ridiculous they need a safe just for $10. Heck, I find it ridiculous they have money to begin with. They're freaking catfish. Where are they gonna spend that kind of money?
Now then, ladies. There he is. Oh, look at it. Poo-poo to you. Yes, you brute. Yes, I told him. He's bad-tempered, isn't he? Now, where were we? Let me see. There you go. Open.
What kind of combination is
Here
that?
we come. Meow.
I hate this part of the game.
Hello? Hello? Money? Money?
There's no way that's $10.
Who the hell are you?
That's
You
more
ain't
than
my
10.
boss. Get out of here. I'm swimming with the fishes.
This gate gets worse and worse by the minute.
Now, what makes this, like, entire sequence feel so pointless is how, in the end, like, when you finally get the money, you're back to this area. It just made the whole chase feel so pointless. Not very worth it, either. It's like, okay, the only thing I'll admit that was kind of funny about this is the part where you get to the boiler room. That's about it, but the rest of this part is very forgettable. So here we got a really stupid mission where we have to crack the code, which is open. If you make 3 mistakes, the little green imps will come chasing after you, and it's made it more ridiculous in the N64 version because you don't have a crosshair. It's moments like this where I still don't get why everyone defends, like, the N64 version's absolutely perfect. I mean, I love the game, but it is not perfect. Neither is the Xbox remake. They both have flaws, but they both have strengths. So yeah, I just skipped the sequence because it's pretty lengthy and tiring, but here we have the Clang's Cavern, like one of the only major underwater sequences in the game. It's pretty boring. I'm surprised though I finally managed to get past this part without getting lost. For some reason I always got lost during this part, and the main reason why is because the exit, it looks so similar to the entrance, so it fools you into thinking like you're going backwards or something, and then eventually you're like, oh wait, I was going the right way the whole time? Shoot. So, after so many times of playing this, I finally memorized that. So I was finally able to get through this without getting lost. So you're mainly supposed to find a switch that activates, like, the exit, but, meanwhile you gotta keep your light on in order to scare off those giant, eyeball creatures. When the light's off, they'll attack you, and they can still attack you even when the light's not on. Well, even when the light's on, it's pretty unresponsive at times for some reason. Yeah, that lever is easier to miss in the N64 version because it blends in so well with the wall. Yeah, notice, like, this is the only part of the game where Conker still wears a hat, because in the original version of this game, when it was supposed to be E-rated, Conker was supposed to wear, like, a different hat in, like, each level that, like, matched the theme of it, whether it was, a cowboy hat, a gladiator helmet, there are just all these different hats, and so it's funny how, for the N64 version, this is, like, the only remain from that, supposedly. Just him wearing the little, like a light bulb helmet, whatever you call those. Although the Xbox remake did add an extra one, because during the spooky chapter they gave Conqueror a Van Helsing outfit. So. I still wish 12 Tales would somehow get released, though. I don't, like, as much as I like Bad Fur Day, I'm not afraid to admit that I thought 12 Tales looked a lot more fun. It just looked like there was more to do in that game. The levels looked a lot bigger. And so it's a shame we lost that game just because Rare feared that it was going to be too similar to Banjo-Kazooie. I don't know what they were talking about. I thought the game looked different enough. And it would have been nice to get that game and then eventually get Bad Fur Day. Yeah, the Fire Imps look a lot better in this game than they do in the remake. They have more facial expressions here, and I don't know, they look kind of pinkish in the remake for some reason. They look better when they had, like this red devilish appearance.
Don't look now! Don't look now! Look at him! Furry guy! Looks kind of flammable! Flammable! Oh, I like flammable. What do we do? Hide! Yeah, hide! Quick, put the tops up! Yeah, oh, what am I gonna do with it? Just shove it up your ass! Oh. There we go.
However, I will admit the gameplay during this part is a lot better in the remake, because they really made the controls a lot more convenient. So during this infamous part, you're supposed to pee on the Fire Imps after getting drunk. So in the remake, they had it where you can actually move Conker around while he's peeing, where in the N64 version, he's forced to stand still for who knows what reason. They just loved making things complicated on the N64, didn't they? Helps to stand close to the healing station, so that way when it wears out, you don't have to worry about Conker slowly having to work his way out there and being more open and getting attacked by the Fire Imps. Yeah, this music is actually one of the few remains from 12 Tales Conquer 64. It was supposed to be used during a part where, like, you went down like a zip wire in one level. And so, funny thing is how the name of this track is The Old Chap. And the reason why is because it pretty much is The Old Chap. It's the music that was meant for the old version, but that game, you know, had to part ways, and so it's the only thing that remained music-wise as far as so it's kind of funny how they just call it The Old Chap. I always found it funny how in the remake, they replaced the glass cups during most cutscenes with, like, a styrofoam cup, so it made no sense when Conker threw it and it shattered like glass. It's like they kept the same sound effect from the N64 version, so it just didn't match the redesign.
Let's do the big guy! Yeah, the big guy! Frank, where's the keys? Press the start button! Let me have it now. Yeah, it's my turn! It's always your turn! Shut up!
Gentlemen, do calm down. We have business at hand.
Hey, he sounds really pumpy. like an English person. Is he up to this job, you reckon? Hey, up to this job? Let me show you something. See that button there? Yeah. The one with the... Yeah. Press. Whoa. I see what you mean.
Balls of brass, sir. Polished to the nth degree.
Oh, no. A bourgeois big bullet boiler. That's all I need.
Once again, what were the designers of this game thinking during this part? Yeah, although I don't hate this part, I do think it's kind of a flawed boss fight. Just love how high-pitched his voice gets when you hit him. But I think this one's really flawed though, because it's like he has terrible detection on where you are, and the camera angle doesn't help, and makes it really easy for you to accidentally get squashed if you're not careful. Heck, even if you are careful. And then, not to mention how sometimes when you're pulling the lever to attack him, sometimes he'll not only dodge it, but he'll even attack you because his flamethrower. I just don't want, you know, I feel like this boss fight could have been handled a lot better. My balls! I'm surprised he's even able to feel a thing. Those balls are made of brass. Are you kidding me? Finally gets attention. It's an area where the lever isn't there. Figures. Why'd he say I got pee in my mouth during that part? Made no sense.
Self-destruct in 1 second. Oh, you stupid
Yeah, I remember I got lost like during this part when I first played it, because I didn't know where that switch was, and I didn't realize what you were supposed to do either. Played this game so many times though that it's easy to remember now, but I remember when I first played it, I had no idea what to do. That's one of this game's biggest flaws. It does not do a very good job at giving you a hint at what to do next.
You want some great stuff?
All that work and we're back to where we started. Ridiculous.
Cash prizes.
Just made this feel like an entirely pointless sequence.
Oh, good ladies! Now, here's some money. Now, give us back our money, honey, and you'll get your $1. What? $1? Yes, yes. Oh, 10%, as we agreed. Yeah.
What's going on with the catfish's head during this sequence? There's something wrong with their textures. You see like this weird purple, like graphic kind of glitching out on them.
$10? I thought you said it was a fortune.
It is a fortune. I'll tell you what. Here's a new deal. I keep the lot. See ya. Chick! Just a minute here, you. What do you think you're doing? That's lady.
Funny how in the Xbox remake they forgot to change her facial expression when she looked in the water during that part. So it feels more lively in this where you actually see her eyes widen a bit. Strange though, there are some parts in the Xbox remake where they actually do a better job at adding expressions, but most of the time they don't. That's what's really strange about these games. I can't believe when I first played this game I actually felt sorry for the catfish, but after replaying the game so many times, like, no, they really deserved it. I mean, they originally wanted Conker to be the one torn up by the bulldog, and then they really tricked him in the end, and so, yeah, you can't really feel as sorry for them anymore. Well, at least this entire chapter wasn't entirely pointless, but, you know, it still feels kind of pointless regardless, though, because the money really doesn't feel like a form of progression in this game. Mostly it's just the cutscenes that feel like it.
Cool. I'll be able to get rid of my mortgage and buy my car.
I mean, the money especially feels pointless in the game when you know, like, what happens during the final level. So here we have the Pooh Mountain scene, one of the more memorable parts of the game.
Hey, pal, what's where you going?
Alright, take my bicycle out of here. It's still really bad in there. You just don't want to go in there.
Calm down. Now, just calm down and tell me what's the matter.
Right. Okay. It all started about 2 days ago. It was me and the lads. We were having a cup of tea. The next thing we know, Chaz is gone. We couldn't find him. We thought, maybe he's just gone off, you know, like do a bit of shopping or something. He never came back. Basil was next. He was just walking along, minding his own business. So I stood down and said, "Hey, Basil, how you doing there, hey, mate?" And he waved over. And that was it. This thing came out of the shite. And I thought to myself, oh no, I'm getting out of this.
I love how in the Xbox remake they had it where the Great Mighty Pooh flipped you off during that part. I thought that was really funny.
The bastards didn't help me in. I'm out of here. You can do what you like. There's some money up there if you can be asked to get it. See yous.
Well, I'm surprised another dung beetle that doesn't bother attacking you. I mean, there's only 2 dung beetles that don't bother attacking you in this game. That and the one inside the Pooh cabin.
Freak on. How you doing, guys?
Bring me some sweet corn.
Who's that? Can't see anyone. Okay. If that's what he wants.
So it sounds like this where you realize that the whole cheese farm, like, fetch quest sequence was basically just, a training part for this boss fight, I suppose. Here we have a parody of Jaws. Another one.
bathroom.
Now, a lot of people say they like the N64 version of this part a lot better. Now, I can agree that I do think the Great Mighty Pooh's design is a little better here because they just made him look more drippy and kind of monstrous. He looks a little more dry in the Xbox remake. But, however, I actually do like the gameplay during this part a lot better in the remake. Not only because you actually get to manipulate the camera, so it makes traversing across the platforms easier, along with attacking him a lot easier with when you have to aim with the toilet paper and stuff like that. But a lot of people also say they like the vocal track in this part a lot better. And honestly, I like the Xbox version a lot better. I just think it sounds a lot more clear. Where in the N64 it sounds a little more, you know, distorted with the audio because they had to tone down like the quality of it so it could fit on the N64. But so instead of just like restoring the audio though, they redid it entirely, and I think it sounds a lot better though. Yes, it is censored, which is unfortunate. I honestly thought the censorship made it a little funnier though during this part, but I thought the audio quality was a lot better. Like Chris Marlowe's singing as Great Mighty Pooh just sounded a little more booming. And I thought the music sounded a lot better, especially with the live orchestra they used. Especially during the final act, I thought like that sounded a lot better in the remake. But very unpopular opinion, though, because I know a lot of people say they like the N64 version better in every way. But you know, I can admit there are parts during this that are better than the N64, but overall, I honestly like the Xbox version of this a lot better. Now, I think here's a pretty hard thing to like a pretty hard question. So a lot of people want Conker to be in Super Smash Bros. And I'm not against that. A lot of people try acting like, oh, it wouldn't work though because he's an M-rated character, but that's bullcrap because if Bayonetta can get in, Conker can get in. I mean, Bayonetta in a way was a pretty more graphic game than Conker. Conker is more of a cartoony, adult, violent game, where Bayonetta it tried being a little more realistic. So with if Conker was ever in Smash Brothers, the big question is, what would be the stage? That'd be tough though, because yeah, there's a lot of stages, and some of them, like I can tell you, it definitely would not be this one. There's no way Nintendo would allude to the Great Mighty Pooh in any form. But so for me, I think a good choice for a level would probably be the war level. Of course, they'd have to tone down the violence of that part, but I think that would kind of make more sense. Just have it where, you know, occasionally there's like oncoming fire from the teddies, like up in their forts and stuff like that. So sometimes you have to take cover, or that'd be kind of like a fun gimmicky stage.
I am the Great Mighty Pooh, and I'm going to throw my shit at you. A huge supply of tish comes from my chocolate starfish. How about some scat, you little twat?
Now, this game has a lot of moments that are just like so random, and this probably is one of the biggest random moments of the game. Yeah, I remember back then I never bothered trying to use the toilet paper to deflect the poo balls, but I learned that, yeah, it's pretty helpful because the poo balls really home in on you at times, which is really hard to avoid.
Do you really think you'll survive in here? You don't seem to know which creek you're in. Sweet corn is the only thing that makes it through my rear. Now How do you think I keep this lovely grin? Have some more caviar.
Yeah, I find it funny how his teeth are made of sweet corn. Now, if they ever made a sequel to this game, I'd love to see them make like an over-the-top, like a dramatic fight against him, kind of like a parody of like I guess like Akira and Attack on Titan, I suppose. Like, I think it would be funny if like there's a part where Conker's like in like some kind of wasteland, and you see like a sewage pipe, and out of the other end comes the Great Mighty Pooh. Like, that's where he ended up after he got flushed, and he ends up like in some kind of radioactive waste, and it transforms him. So he's suddenly the Great Almighty Pooh. He can now shapeshift into different forms, and it'd be funny like to have it be like a multi-phase battle, and you could have like you know, like with each battle, when he transforms, they could eventually have Conker say like, "Sheesh, what is this? A JRPG final boss all of a sudden?" Or but I think it'd be really funny to see like all the different kind of forms that Great Mighty Pooh could take, and like his final form would be like where he's like a giant, like just a giant monster with like feet and legs, and he's just stomping around the wasteland, and it's like a parody of a God of War during that part. Like, instead of a blade, Conker would have like a toilet brush in his hand, and so he'd have to climb up the Great Mighty Pooh and dodge his attacks and slash at his weak points or something. I think that would be a really funny idea for a boss fight against the Great Mighty Pooh.
Now I'm really getting rather mad. You're like a niggly, tickly, shitty little tag nut. When I've knocked you out with all my bab, I'm going to take your head and ram it up my butt.
Your butt.
My butt.
Your butt.
That's right, my butt.
Ugh.
My butt. My butt.
As I mentioned, like I said, how if they ever made a sequel, it'd be funny if they had a reprise against the Great Mighty Pooh. But I think heck, I could see them definitely making like a whole level out of the Great Mighty Pooh. Like, there could probably be a part where Conker got eaten by him, and so you're then like exploring his insides, like it's a giant like cave of death or something, and so you have to try to find a way out. That'd be kind of funny. Or, heck, even find a way to destroy him from the inside, kind of like, the final boss in Epic Mickey 2. I mean, Epic Mickey, not Epic Mickey 2. Then, it'd be kind of funny if Conker found, like, some survivors inside of him. So there'd just be a bunch of random characters inside of the Great Mighty Pooh, and they're begging you to help them escape or something. That'd be kind of funny. Like, just for laughs, one of them could be a gerbil. Another funny thing is, the different kind of weapons Conker could pull out to defeat the Great Mighty Pooh in a rematch. I could definitely see him pulling out a giant bag of cat litter and throwing it like a grenade or something. So when it explodes, it causes the Great Mighty Pooh to get all dry and crusty to a point where a part of him breaks off or something. And that'd be like the ultimate way of weakening him. And yeah, it makes you wonder why Conker didn't do that in the first place. Instead of throwing toilet paper, he should have threw cat litter at him.
Yeah, more fun to this.
Ah, you cursed Squirrel, look what you've done. I'm blushing. Oh, what a world, what a world. Who would have thought a good little squirrel like you could destroy my beautiful planet? Oh, I'm going.
Wizard of Oz reference.
Now that's what I call a bowel movement.
Well, that's all I have to show for now. Thank you for watching. See you next time. Goodbye.